guess specifically Jalen Anderson?
Yeah, Jalen is not here. Jalen Anderson's not here. Everybody else is here. That y'all heard about being here. Everybody else is here. Not sure when Jalen will arrive. We're still hopeful that he will. Some clearinghouse things going on, but he's the only one that's not here right now.
But you mentioned last year that you expected to learn some things by doing the split squad and get some benefits out of it. What were a couple of the things that you found that are good that carried over to kind of extend it this year a little bit?
Yeah, we do a lot of drill work, special teams wise, about splitting the squad. We found some guys last year that really helped us as the year went on special teams, and we wouldn't have recognized them because they probably went on scout team early on in camp, but because we were split squad, they got live reps, and we're very proficient at the drills, so that's one positive. The other thing too is I think as you go through the season, you experience injuries. We're back under the old, normal rules where you got a 4-game red shirt. I think what I project happening is these young guys or first-year players are getting a lot of quality reps that they're logging. And so now when we have to use them or when they're needed to use them in their 4 games, they're going to be more prepared to do that.
You mentioned redshirting. You could redshirt second-year guys too, because last year was free. Have you thought about?
So what we'll do is, this is kind of my approach on camp, is from now until the 24th of August, we're in camp mode. We'll finish camp on the 24th. Our school starts on the 18th, but the way we're really approaching preseason camp is it ends on the 24th. And then we'll start Maryland prep on the 25th. And we'll stay away from making redshirt decisions or anything like that, but you're right. I mean, we definitely could. The way we're attacking most of the guys that played limited roles last year, we're really perceiving them as redshirt freshmen already, but we could redshirt them for sure.
Coach, how are you guys physically? Guys that jumped out this summer that worked out, what do you see there from some of you guys?
Yeah, I think there's physically, I think we have the best, from athletic training and strength conditioning. I think we have the best in the country. We really do. I think we've made a lot of gains here nutritionally. I think two bodies that are a lot different are Jared Davey. He has changed his body, very close to the same weight, but the makeup is totally different. He's down under 10 body fat percentage, which is a huge improvement for him. And he's been diligent about it. And Akeem Messador has really changed his body. Those are two guys physically. When you see them out there in helmets running around for the first time, you're like, okay, there's a significant difference than when we got done with the spring game. But we had a really good summer. I think we approached this like in this way. You have your winter, kind of the first quarter, your spring ball second. Now the third quarter is your summer. Now we're in the fourth quarter of the year, and it starts with preseason camp going into the season. But I like where we are physically.
Longer, leaner guys. Is your composition what you want it to look like for your team?
We're getting there. We really are. I like the way our receiver corps looks. We've got a good mix of length and speed. I think we've got some running backs that can do some different things. We got some versatility at tight end between guys that are receiver types and prototypical blockers. I think that's a good mix. Offensive line, we look a lot better. There's a significant difference in how we look. We probably don't have the number of bodies that we need, probably one recruiting class away from that. Defensively, we need to get some depth on the defensive line, but we roll out there and our first 6 guys, they look the part. Linebackers, the additions we've made are guys that have length and size. Secondary, again, our first group is, they're experienced, and I think we got a chance to be really good. We've got to develop. That's one of the things in camp, that those young guys in the secondary, in the second group, which is critical, and they've got a ton of reps today. We ran them all in the first practice. They got to come on, and that's going to be a defining group for how we go this season, because I don't perceive us going through totally healthy again.
Transfers, you mentioned sort of the linebackers, but you took 4 plus Nestor from the spring. So what did you see out of them? You think they're guys that can help you right away? Do they have to help you right away?
Yeah, well, we'll just go by them one by one. If I miss somebody, you'll call me out on it. But Doug is a lot more confident in this practice than he was at any point during the spring. I just think that he's an extremely humble guy, and he wanted to make sure that he earned his spot. I think he was a little unsure what we were trying to get him to do. We bounced him around a lot in the spring from positions. Thought he was a lot more confident today, and I look forward to him having a great fall camp, and we need him to play. We do. And then kind of moving down, Lance Dixon, at will linebacker, athletically. He's what you want. He's got good length. He can run. He's got to learn the scheme. You know, he got here in May, and we worked to get him in condition because he wasn't at a place in the spring, so that's a work in progress. I think Deshaun Stevens is a proven player. We need him. I think he's got a bevy of skills that fit kind of what we do. In Maine, they used him very similar to how we're going to use him. They blitzed him quite a bit. They blitzed him interior on the exterior. And then he stood up and played in the box, and he's a big physical guy, and you'll notice that when you see him tomorrow. Charles Woods is a guy that, again, really good career at Illinois State. I like him because he's a quick learner. He loves football, just kind of goes to work every day. He's had a great workman-like attitude since he's been here. Middleton's only been here for a couple weeks. You'll notice him, he'll immediately stick out to you tomorrow. I mean, he's a big guy. I think credit to him. He's a lot leaner than he played last year at Tennessee, and we need him again. We need him to be a player. I think it's going to take a little bit. I don't think it's fair to have expectations that during the first month of the season that he's going to be a big factor for us. I think he's going to have to play into into shape, and it's going to take him a little bit of time. And this thing interior body wise is whether you're playing 5 technique 3 or nose. It takes a little time in our scheme because we move so much, and there's a lot of timing, but he will be a factor for us as we move through the season. Everybody?
You mentioned Nestor. You concentrate him at guard now? You still?
Yeah, we're working more guard. I think that's the best place for him. That's where he got all his reps today, and we'll play it by ear. We're not just saying, hey, he has to play guard, but that's where he's getting his reps right now.
I know no pads yet, obviously, but how do you feel about your tackles? What they did this summer and how they developed?
Yeah, their bodies look better. I mean, I think that when you see them tomorrow, I mean, they look the part of a Power 5 tackles. What we need from Yates is some urgency. He's got to be physical. He's got a lot of reps, and he played well last year at times. I think as his confidence increases, and confidence is earned repetitions in my mind, I think as his confidence increases, he's got a chance to be a really good player. Parker Moore had a really good offseason. He's got to play better than he did last year, which he will. He's got a better understanding of defensive football. He's got a better understanding of what we're trying to do. So I think he got better as the spring went on, and I anticipate him getting better as we go through fall. And then Wyatt Milam will be in the mix as well.
Of all the positions where you got transfers, which one's the hardest to learn?
Hardest to learn. I think offensive line is hard because Doug was here in the spring, so that makes it easier for him. But at offensive line, so many things change. Your picture changes. Defensively, it's a little easier to play earlier just because you're dictating which direction you're going, things like that. I think the interior of our defensive line, the 3 D line positions, it takes, like I was saying earlier, it takes a little bit of time because we move the front and we play so many games. There's a lot of timing that goes into that.
Coach, a year ago, you guys didn't even know if you're going to have a football season. Now, obviously, you're going to have a football season for the summer, and you're going to renovate home. Have you noticed maybe a difference in attitude around your players and your staff heading into this season as opposed to last season?
Yeah, well, if you remember last year, we had so much energy because people have been cooped up, and we were just, that was something that probably doesn't get talked about enough last year, but and so many things went wrong and we had to change, but there really was a joy about playing early. Now, as the season kind of grinded on, it really wore on the players because they never got any reprieve and they didn't get a break, So, but that joy was there early in fall camp because they were just excited to be playing, excited to be around each other. So it's different in that, our guys look forward to practice. We gave them some time off. They had about 6 days off before we started fall camp. And I think that's always a positive because you get, they kind of wrap up the summer, get a chance to take a breath, come back. But I think the difference in our team this year is we've got a good mix of veterans and youth. And I think that our youth are hungry, you know, and our leadership's better than, and that's not a knock on anybody that's been here before. I just think our leadership has now been in our program now for going on 3 years, and they got a better understanding of what we're trying to do.
How have you addressed the conference thing with your team?
You know, we talked about it real early, and here's what I said, and I'll say this publicly, is I have no crystal ball. I have no idea how it's going to play out. What I do know, though, is West Virginia, for a really long time, has been in a bunch of different conferences but played at a high level. You know, and the success of our men's basketball program and our football program will dictate that we'll be in a good landing spot. Now, I can't project what that looks like. For the foreseeable future, you know, we're in the Big 12. We're getting ready to play in the Big 12, you know, and we're happy members there. And it's not gonna affect anything we're doing this year. We're gonna play the same schedule. So that's the way I talk about it to our guys is, hey, we've had several different conferences. The one common is we've always played football at a really high level here, and we've handled those changes, whatever they may be, and we'll do that moving forward as well.
Can you not to fixate on Middleton because he's been here so briefly, but just his size is different.
Yeah, it's
With
good
the
length.
Is he such a talent that he could fit in with what you all do as is, like the first 2 years, or can he kind of give you some versatility where one person can give you like a different look or a different element?
Yeah, well, him and Sean Martin are built very similar. So they're going to give us an opportunity as Sean matures and Middleton gets an idea of what we want to do. But they give us the capability to play heavy fives or even play into 4 eyes, which is some looks that some teams that are playing at a high level in our league do. So it does give us a little versatility. What's going to take Darrell a little bit of time is, you know, the position we're asking to play, he's going to play on the edge, he's going to play head up, he's going to play 3 technique. You know, all the things we asked Dante to do, we're going to use him in a lot of the same ways. And it just takes a little bit of time. You know, and you're talking about a guy that's been here maybe 2 weeks now.
How many new walk-ons have you brought into camp?
I don't know. I'll have Mike release
Okay.
that. I don't know that off the top of my head. We've got our guys. I thought we had a really good walk-on class this year. That's something that we've really tried to do, especially here in state. Because if you look at it, as I went back and looked at the teams, they're really good here. You know, especially on special teams. There's been a lot of guys from the state of West Virginia that walked on here and made a significant contribution on special teams and earned a scholarship, and that's something that we actually talked about yesterday in our team meeting. But I'll have Monty get you those numbers. I don't know right offhand.
Who are you looking for from X-ray low this year?
Yeah, I think this is his time. I do. Kind of battled a foot injury all year last year. He's been one of the best special teams players here now, going on 3 years. And he's got a great opportunity. You know, we moved Josh Chandler over to Mike linebacker. He's playing Will, competing there with Lance Dixon. We know he's going to be a heavy contributor on special teams. He's been he's been a great special teams player. But I think it's time for him. You know, I think it's a great opportunity for him to, in this preseason camp, to earn quality playing time on defense.
You've talked about being creative, you know, with adding people. Do you like what you're able to do? Do you feel like you address most of your needs?
Yeah. Caleb Coleman is the other transfer that I didn't hit on. Caleb we're playing him right now, kind of bouncing back between spear and safety. He can really run. He's got great length. I want to make sure I add to that. We did. Maybe wanted to add maybe one more defensive back. You know, I guess the normal coach answers is, yeah, we got everybody we wanted, but no, we probably wanted to add one defensive back, but we never want to stretch, you know, and it's easy to turn those scholarships over into the next class. So that was we probably wanted to add one more defensive back. I feel good what we have. We're just going to be depending on some freshmen.
Is Sean Stevens a Mike or a Bandit?
He's Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, playing Mike.
Coach, one of the focuses in the spring was to find a number 2 back to 11. How's that search looking? Is Tony looking like the guy? How's it looking?
Yeah, if we play tomorrow, Tony Mathis will be the number 2 back. He came out of spring as the number 2 back. Had a great offseason according to Mike Joseph. Mike gave him one of the awards that he gives out at the end of the summer. Tony also won an award at the end of spring, you know, based on his winter performance. And he had a good first day today, you know, so if we played, he would. And I think that Justin Johnson will be a factor in that. You know, we really like him. You know, in day one, he made a couple plays today. We really liked his high school film. We thought that, you know, he was one of the guys we were most excited about in that recruiting class.
Okay, anything else?
All right. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.